Tiff and Rach here.
We are the Nobodies, and this is our podcast.
Hey guys, just strolling on into the day.
I don't know if you would call what we're doing at this point strolling as much as it is a fumbly feeling through what's changing and what's happening in our bodies as a product of this work.
As well as our very intense F45 workout this morning that was very much cardio and a lot of feels for the two of us.
Oh, yeah.
We shared our experience about going through the superficial backline and all the other things.
Frontline,
backline.
Now
and
we're doing lateral line.
We did that yesterday with each other. Very interesting for the two of us.
Do you want to talk through the lateral line?
Yeah, okay.
Bottom to top?
So bottom to top, the lateral line is what encases our body side to side.
It's our side corset.
It is our side corset.
It's very sexy. Sometimes.
Sometimes it's very asymmetrical.
Mine is like a asymmetrical bob.
Oh, yes, which never goes well.
Imagine the kind of pressure it's putting on your discs when you're crunched on one side and lengthened on the other.
And not just discs, but like the sides of your knees, your ankles, your hips, other parts of your joints. So first comes the bottom of our foot. So at just below the base of your baby toe, there's a band of tissue that tucks around the bottom of the foot. And that is what we call our lateral band of fascia. And it goes into our plantar fascia, but it also then goes up the side of our leg, up those muscles we know as the peroneals, or now known as the fibulari. So they go up the side bone, the fibula, in through the small tube that looks almost like a boba straw. And they come together and they meet at the side of your knee. And that continuity goes up the side of your knee into that iliotibial tract that everybody loves to talk about.
My IT band.
My IT band is so, I gotta roll it. I gotta just smash it. And so here we are, we're going through the motions. Oh, it stopped because it detected us being too loud.
Oh, we're back.
I don't know where I ended.
So we were talking about the IT band.
And we got a little out of control.
To smash it. And the microphone was like, no, you're too much. So here we are again.
So we're quieting ourselves because we don't know what we're doing.
Smash the IT band.
Anyway, as you get up to your hip, there's that kind of sticky outy bone by the side of your hip. And that is a confluence of lots of different attachment. If you're looking at muscular zip codes.
We call it
a roundhouse.
Trochanteric sadness.
Yes, well, there's that. It can be very sad.
Because that sticky outy bit is called the greater trochanter of your femur.
Yes, and that is one of the places where when we are embryologically growing, those bumps on our bones form with tension. Yep. So when these muscles form in like the part of our embryonic state where the bones are growing apart, there's this musculature that's also kind of forcing itself apart with it. And when that's doing that, it's like when a tree root is starting to be pulled out of the soil and that soil comes up with it. And it's pulling and creating this tension and creating these bumps.
A protuberance.
They are. Sometimes. They are protuberances. Or tubercles, yes. And so when we get up into the top of the pelvis, that's the next kind of zip code stop. And where that all comes together is right at the top. And if you feel that top part of your hip,
put your hand there.
You can put your hand there. You can kind of
and maybe side to side move.
Bend your body side to side, and you'll feel that contraction of what we would call mostly like the internal and external obliques. And if you go back a little further, you can feel kind of something sticky outy feeling. It's deeper, and it's our quadratus lumborum muscle, and that's not really a part of this.
It's kind of a touch into the core, which is part of the lateral line. It's like your first foray into what's to come.
Yes. And so all of those muscles are kind of side benders and extenders. And so we get into those. Going up the ribs, we're freeing the arms. We're trying to free your wings, essentially. Spreading your wings. And so going up the side of the body, then through the rib cage, all the way up to the armpit and the shoulder, and then continuing that up, that band goes all the way up to those sticky outy muscles. Again, we've spoken about the SCM, the sternocleidomastoid muscles.
It's that one
when you turn your head and they
pops out.
Yeah, it pops. And so,
and the one on the back, the splenius capitis,
yes,
makes an X.
They do, yeah. And that splenius capitis, splenius means like a bandage. And so it's covering and creating a type of kind of security, the way that curl band around our ankle, or a retinaculum, sometimes they call those bracelet,
yep,
is holding down other tissue.
And all these words we're talking about are just different kinds of fascia or connective tissue. They are maybe thicker, denser, more sinewy. They have different combinations of the cells and the things that make up fascia. And it's so cool how our body is just like, oh, we need this here. Like,
and I think for Tiff and I'm speaking for the two of us, with respect to like my background, which was massage therapy in Ontario, is that we love delineating all of these things like they exist in their own little boxes. And so a tendon was what attaches muscle to bone, and then a ligament was what held bone to bone. And yet none of those things are really, they're just different varieties of fascia.
But it's one big mosh in the body.
It is. It's just one big like spider web of held tissues, and the more that we can get them to glide and move, the better we function. And what's really interesting, and I'm not sure, this is a small tidbit, that we talked about ligaments holding bone to bone, and so many people think about our bones being our structure. We talked about them laying on the floor in our last podcast if we didn't have our connective tissue. And, there is a substance in our body called hyaluron, and it is so effective at creating glide and lack of friction, essentially, that we always like to think that our joints are touching each other.
Bone on bone.
They are not.
Nope.
When they are in line, like our hip joint is so glidey in there, in the acetabulum. It doesn't actually really touch. There's no friction there. It's just creating this gliding space, unless there is massive amounts of asymmetries and lots of pulls and tugs on this fascial connective tissue toga that takes it out of its ideal positioning.
Right.
And then that's when you can start to have these wear and tear type things. But if you're looking at it like it's the joint's problem, it's not. Yep. It's a byproduct. It's a byproduct of something else not working.
Of a sad tunic.
It really is the sad tunic.
And if we want to talk a little bit about our own attunement and our own experience today, I noticed a couple of different things. So that boba straw of those fibulary muscles in the side of my leg, your side shin. For me, as a person who has pronated or medially tilted arches and
a lot of people call flat feet.
Right. They're flattish, right?
Yeah.
They fall in and my knees knock together, which makes me sort of an X-leg individual. You've often seen people who have bowed legs that look like an O shape, and then people whose knees come closer than their ankles do. And with that pattern, I have a lot of tension and a lot of pull on that outside of my shin as well as the outside of my knee. That's where the weight is traveling, is up the outside edge. And so with the freedom that I gained from yesterday's session, I can not only feel those side shin muscles actually moving and gliding with every step that I take, but I also can extend or straighten my knees all the way, which wasn't available to me before. And it's a really fun feeling. And it really helped me in some of the things in my workout today. I was able to do some really easy box jumps where my landings were light and effortless, and some things that just I wasn't able to do before. And it was really fun to feel into those new spaces and capacities.
Yeah, we're coming together with so many new feels. I had lots of things to, we're not going to bore you with our own complete, realignment. Yeah. But, these are all really important to you. I encourage you to look up anatomy trains online. Look up some of these things. There's plenty of YouTubes and stuff that you can pull out from our mentor, Tom. He's got COVID did him a favor. It made him put some of his knowledge into video and online, and we have access to it. So,
Rach, if you were going to share one thing that you felt from yesterday's session, what would it be?
The freedom of my length in my midsection. I am compressed and need to be really working on lengthening my body, and I'm trying to be 5'4".
Yep.
So
we're getting
we're getting myself there. So I hope you all have a good day, and thanks for listening.
Peace out.